morning and welcome to this Mark's Reviews and Tutorials video. Today we're going to be reviewing this little Coasts heater. This is just a made in China, very much a cheapie, but they are so cheap that you have to consider them in some instances. I've got a customer who's chosen one of these, wants to put this onto his spa. It is so much cheaper. Getting one from another pool supply company with a warranty and a brand name is about 10 times the price. So you can buy a whole lot of these and have them fail and break before you come anywhere near paying for just a little electric heater, one of the brand name ones from a pool wholesale company. So giving this a bit of a review, I've put a couple of these on before. You can also get the same brand, this COASTS. I'll put a link. You can get these on Amazon and places like this. So I'll put a link for Amazon UK and Amazon US so you can buy them from wherever. And I'll put up a link for Australia too. But first of all, I just want to talk about the build quality. It really is quite okay build quality. This is stainless steel. Sometimes stuff out of China can be mild steel with a bit of lacquer over the top of it. This is actually stainless steel. Looking inside at the heater element, it all looks good and it looks as it should. So build quality wise, it really does look the part. Now it's sold as a pool and spa heater. I mean, there is no swimming pool under any circumstances that this would heat. It's just 3 kilowatt, 2.7 to 3.3 kilowatt. So it's a 3 kilowatt. In a spa, a normal, 800 to 1,000 litres spa, which is the normal sort of size, a 3 kilowatt heater will take about 8 hours to heat it up from, sort of 11 degrees Celsius. So that's, around 20, no, not 20 Fahrenheit, 50 Fahrenheit, something like that. So it's going to take a while even for a spa. This is not going to touch a swimming pool, not a swimming pool of any size, shape or dimension. But you can get this brand in bigger heaters, 11 kilowatt, 15 kilowatt and so forth. Same deal, they can do better. Now the bigger ones have 40mm fittings in and out. It's pretty standard that a lot of this stuff is plumbed in either 40mm PVC or 50mm PVC. So that's 1.5 or 2 inch PVC pipe. This guy though has just got queer fittings. Got a 40mm fitting here, and if you have a look, that doesn't go on there, it's just loose. That's a little one. See, it's got an offset return on it. And it's not 32mm PVC either. And then this guy here, often you can check either under or over to see where it's going to fit. 40mm. Well, it looks like it's about the same size, but the outside, is it 50? No, that's a 50mm elbow. That's a special glue-in elbow, so it's got a 50mm internal. Is that going to go on there? No, it doesn't. There's no PVC size that this will glue in on, so it's all a bit weird in that what they've supplied it with. This is, you just undo the barrel unions and these fittings are separate, so they can supply the right size molded to this. They just don't. The solution I've come up with, and the only one that I know of, is to get some rubber cuffs. Go back to the good old rubber cuffs. I've got a 32 by 40. So the 32 actually goes nicely onto there, and that'll come up and give a nice good seal. And then the 40, of course, will go onto that 40mm piece of pipe. So that's one of them. Let's get it here again. I'll put links to all these parts in the description so you can grab hold of them. And with the Amazon US one, they actually post all over the world. So you can find someone on there. I'll put a link in the description. Now the other end is actually going to be done with a cuff as well. This time it's a 50 by 40. Now if you're in a spa and it's in 50mm plumbing, obviously this one you go 50 by 50 cuff, and you can just clamp straight onto this and then clamp straight onto the pipe. The other end though, what you're going to need to do is go with the 32mm end to go onto there, out to the 40. But what you can do then, just put a piece of 40mm pipe, a very short piece, into a 40 by 50 reducer, and then you'll be able to plumb your 50mm plumbing onto that. But that's the solution I've come up with, and it's going to be a good solution. It'll be perfectly watertight, it'll seal, it'll do the job. Now again, with a heater like this, if you're running a huge pump through it, like a 2 horsepower or 2.5 horsepower or 3 horsepower, something like that, I would suggest that you plumb in a bypass so that not all of the water is going through the heater, because it's just going to be too much for it, and it's going to be too restrictive it's going to reduce the flow through your jets. So if you've got a system with a 2-speed pump where the 2.5 horsepower or 3 horsepower is going to want to push through this, put in here a T-piece so you can have a pipe coming out and around, and put a two-way valve in the bypass pipe so you can have it fully open, or you can vary how much you close it in order to have the water going through. These do have a pressure switch on them, and they do have a thermostat on them. So you've got to have the pressure switch saying yes, there's pressure. You've got to have the thermostat saying yes, it's not up to the temperature set yet for this to run. They don't come with a plug. That's the wire for them there. So you will need to wire in whatever sort of connection you've got. 3 kilowatt, you can, as long as you've got decent wiring to a power point, you can actually plug 3 kilowatt into a standard outlet normally. And that's why they sell 3 kilowatt, because it's the one that you can get away with. You still need to get that checked by an electrician, what your point can actually take, what's already on that circuit. All needs to be checked. And that's serious. You don't just get away with that. You do need to make sure that there's enough, that the circuit in your house can carry the current when you start putting big heaters like this on. Definitely 11 kilowatts, 6 kilowatt, 18 kilowatts, they've got to have a dedicated line back to the meter box, and they've got to be hardwired in by an electrician. Anything that's 110 or 240 volt, you normally got to get an electrician to do and connect. So there you go. Build quality good, fitting size weird, but we can get around it. 32 by 40 cuff and a 50 by 40 cuff, and that'll be a good solution. I'm going to go out now and put it in. I'm actually going to put 2 of these in side by side in order to give a 6 kilowatt heater to a system, and I'll show you once we get him operational. So there you go, wham, they're installed. Don't you wish it was that easy? Took a bit of time actually. I did actually pre-assemble the rubber cuffs on. A couple of things to note: I put the smaller end and the smaller rubber cuffs on the other side of the heater, so that there was a bit, the back pressure would be there to hit the pressure switches rather than reducing the flow going through the heater. You'll see here the pipes coming in on an angle and up on an angle. I needed to get the heaters up at the height of the spar. If you look back here, you'll see that the filter's right down low, and the bottom of that picture there is actually up where the spar is. These heaters needed to have not too much static pressure on them. That's not too much gravity weight of water pushing down, because you don't want those pressure switches to be activated when the pump's not actually on. So they needed to be up at that height, and whenever you're doing spa plumbing or any plumbing really, you want to put the least amount of elbows in as you possibly can. That's why I've used the straight pipe up to the front of them, and then there, if you have a look, you'll see I've used the straight pipe coming up out the back as well. But she went in really well. The customer had an electrician come out and hardwire it. He sorted out all the electricity, and he's now told me that they're working great. So there you go. His request was for the cheapest option, and that was by far the cheapest option. You've got to make sure that these things are electrically registered and okay for your country. There's all sorts of things you've got to do. Definitely put them in on an earth leak detection type device, because you're bringing electricity into the water that you're sitting in. So under no circumstances get these wired or wire it yourself without putting an earth leak detection system in. But apart from that, look, as long as you understand that they're cheaper, they're not going to last as long, and they're not going to get a great big warranty, then these are really good units and a good option. So I'll put a few of them in now. Even up to 2 years ago, I put them in, and they're still running without a problem at all. So if you want to have a roll of the dice with these, go for it. If you want to get yourself a quality system, this is not the option, because the other ones, mind you, they are seriously up to 10 times the price, but they're a good way to go as well.